Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ask the Expert webinar, Creating PowerPoints with SAS. My name is Tiago de Souza, and I will serve as your moderator for today's event. Now, I would like to take a moment to introduce our presenter, Judy Orr-Lawrence, a senior technical training consultant here at SAS. Judy is a valued member of the education delivery team, specializing in teaching SAS courses. Why don't we turn things over to our presenter so we can get started? Judy, please take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, Diego, and welcome everyone to Creating PowerPoints with SAS. So as you all know, PowerPoint is such a popular presentation application, and it's my pleasure to show you how you can easily create PowerPoint results from your SAS output. The objective of today's presentation is to show you other methods of creating PowerPoint results from your SAS results. So from the poll, I saw that a lot of you are Enterprise Guide users. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you all the different ways from all the SAS interfaces that you can create your PowerPoint results. So if you use the SAS code editor, you probably know that the code editor is available in all these different interfaces. So as long as you can find the code editor in any of these interfaces, you're going to easily create your PowerPoint results. Enterprise Guide, you might be coding in Enterprise Guide, but if you're a point and click user in Enterprise Guide, you're going to learn some techniques to easily create those PowerPoints. Similar with SAS Studio and SAS 9 and VIA, slightly different interfaces. So I'm going to go through that for you. And the add-in, probably the easiest way to do things. I'll show you how to use that as well. All right, so let's go through all these different techniques then for easily creating your PowerPoint results. So again, the objective today is to stray you away from using copy and paste and to use these techniques instead. All right, when it comes to the SAS code editor, as long as you can find a SAS code editor in any of your interface, this technique will always work. You can use the SAS Output Delivery System statements. So the Output Delivery System, also known as ODS, is the system that generates your output results. So even when you're getting your HTML, it's the Output Delivery System in the background that's generating your results. So what we can do is we can override those results with these two simple highlighted statements that you see here. So the first one is we call an ODS open statement. So what you're doing with this first statement is you're specifying the file format that you want to create. So in our case, it's PowerPoint, so ODS PowerPoint. Then you specify the file equals option to specify a qualified file path, and you name your output PowerPoint file with the .ppt extension. So it's very important that the file extension match the ODS file format. So PowerPoint was with PPT. Okay, and then you want to close off your ODS destination with a simple ODS PowerPoint close. It's important that you close off the destination because this ODS system is very resource intensive. So if you don't close it off, anything you create after you open it will always be created in PowerPoint. So unless that's your intention, I would recommend highly that you always close off so you're not consuming unnecessary resources. All right, so that's it. So really straightforward statements, again, that you can use anywhere, and you always put it around your procedure results that you want output to PowerPoint. Now, if you're a SAS Enterprise Guide user and you're using the point and click tasks, well, there's an easy way to create those PowerPoint results. So for a task, like you're seeing here, this is for the bar line chart, you can go into the properties and the results properties of a task and customize the results format and choose from your selection list the PowerPoint output format. And to the right of that, you can also choose a style sheet. So the style sheet basically impacts the background colors and fonts, okay? And that's it. It's that simple. So you can do this for a specific task in Enterprise Guide, Or at a global level, if you go into Tools Options in Enterprise Guide, you're going to go to Results General, and there you will see the global setting for your default output. Well, there is a PowerPoint selection available. So you can choose your PowerPoint from there. And you can even set it as a default if you need to. Okay? So that's if you want all your output going forward, any task, any program you run, you can do it through the global settings in Enterprise Guide. All right, moving on to SAS Studio on SAS 9. Okay, again, same thing applies with the code. But if you use the point and click tasks on SAS Studio on SAS 9, what you can do is when you run your task, you're going to go to the automatically generated code from a task, right? That and you'll see that. I'll show you in the demo coming up. So when that automatically generated code is produced, you can edit that code. And once you edit that code, you can put in those same ODS statements to set up your PowerPoint file format and then close the destination. Okay. All right, what about SAS Studio on SAS Viya? So with SAS Studio on SAS Viya, we have steps instead of tasks. So with the steps in SAS Studio on SAS Viya, what you can do is when you get your results, you can download to PowerPoint. But in order to do that, you first have to go to the global preferences and choose the option to produce PowerPoint output. And you'll see the option to choose a style sheet. Once you set that up, run your step, then you can go to the more options and download to PowerPoint. And it's that simple. Okay. Now, when it comes to the add-in for Microsoft Office, and I think I remember a few of you had that, said to use the add-in to Microsoft Office. So if you're using that, you're probably familiar with this. So if you're not familiar, the add-in essentially adds a SAS menu into your PowerPoint environment. And once you're in that environment, if you run a report or a task, all you do is when you get your results, there's a little icon. And you just click on that icon and it adds it into your PowerPoint presentation. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at all these different techniques. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And we'll go through each of these techniques, starting with Enterprise Guide. All right, so here we have Enterprise Guide. And you can see I have some basic SAS data step code to create the output table I need. So I'm using as my source one of the sample tables in my SAS help library, the shoes table. So from that, I'm creating two new tables, a canned shoes and a US shoes table. Right, outputting that. Once I get my output of my canned shoes, I'm sorting it by subsidiary and product. And then down below, I have a proc print, okay? So the proc print is what's gonna generate my output results with the default output format. So let's just run this. And you can see it's just a report of subsidiaries by product. And because I have a page by subsidiary, I'm getting multiple pages for each subsidiary. So I want these multiple pages in separate PowerPoint slides, okay? Now, the way most of you are doing it now is you're copying and pasting, which is really tedious, right? So rather than doing that, here's what you're gonna do. So I'm gonna uncomment my ODS statements here. So there's my ODS PowerPoint file equals. I'm going to write out my output file to my C temp folder, and I'm going to name it canshoes.ppt. Remember the file extension must match PowerPoint. And I'm adding a style sheet here. I'll show you how you can take a preview look at what these style sheets look like. And again, this is optional. You don't have to include this. Again, this controls the background colors and fonts. My title statement, proc print. Remember, these statements go around procedures that generate results, right? You wouldn't put these around a proc sort, only around things like a proc mean, proc frequency, anything that's generating results. And then I close off my destination. Okay, notice here I also have an option statement. This option statement is just going to suppress the date and page number that's printed out on the PowerPoint. If you don't mind seeing that, you don't have to keep this, okay? So I'm going to rerun this to generate and write out my canchoose.ppt file. So there it is, created, and I just double click on it. And just like that, I'll have PowerPoint presentation created, 5 pages with all my individual subsidiary reports on separate pages in PowerPoint, right? Way easier, faster than trying to copy and paste and clean things up, okay? Quick and easy. So let's close that. All right, let's look at a point and click task. Oh, before I get to that, I just want to show you the style sheet. So that was a basic style sheet. If you use Enterprise Guide, you can take a preview, get a preview of those style sheets if you go to the Tools menu, Style Manager. So in the Style Manager in Enterprise Guide, you can just kind of scroll through the look and feel of these style sheets, right? And choose one that's appropriate for you. Again, the style is optional. If you don't choose one, it'll just use the default. All right, let's take a look at a point and click task. You can see here I have created a one-way frequency task, which I'm going to modify. All right, so you can see for this task, I'm analyzing sales based on my canned shoes table that I created, frequency count by stores, grouping by subsidiary. So this is going to create my multiple pages that I want in PowerPoint. All right, so if I just run this as is, the results will be the default HTML report. Here it is, right? So frequency, summary report, and the distributions. Okay, so for a task, all I do is modify the task, go to the properties of the task, and then from the properties to the right, I go to edit the properties. And when I'm in this properties window, I'm going to go to results. And here is where I'll find the option to customize results format, and I can choose PowerPoint. I can choose it in addition to the default or instead of the default. And to the right, I can, again, choose from all the different style sheets. All right, so again, quick and easy. Choose OK, and it's just going to run through. And once it's done, you'll see the branch creating the PowerPoint. There it is. So double click on it to open it. And just like that, all those frequency results are in a 10-page PowerPoint presentation. Okay. Just like that. All right. So, so that's for an individual task in Enterprise Guide. At a global level, you can go to Tools, Options, Results General, and from here, you can choose PowerPoint if you wanted all your results to always be generated in PowerPoint. Okay, and as I mentioned, you can also set it as the default from here. Okay, all right. So that's Enterprise Guide. Let's switch over to SAS Studio. Okay. So you'll notice I have 2 tabs here. I have a SAS Studio single user and a SAS Studio. Okay, so these are 2 different variations of SAS Studio. SAS has really grown over the years, right? And I'm kind of going from the growth, right? Starting with Enterprise Guide, then to SAS Studio on SAS 9, then to our most current SAS Studio on VIA. Okay, if you're not sure which SAS Studio you have, if it's SAS Studio on SAS 9, when you go to the help, you can go to About SAS Studio, and it'll tell you what release it is, and it'll say SAS 9.4. So this is 3.82 on SAS 9.4. All right, so this is the same code that we just looked at in Enterprise Guide. And I'm just going to go ahead and modify it to produce the PowerPoint. And as I said, the ODS statements work in any editor around any procedure that you want to create your PowerPoint results for, right? So exact same code. The only thing I'm going to do is maybe give the file a slightly different name. I'm going to tag an underscore SS here for SAS Studio. I'll leave the same style sheet and I'll run this. So again, this will generate my PowerPoint results in the file name that I specified. And I'll just go ahead and open it. Now, with SAS Studio, when it generates your results, you can see the default HTML. Notice the icons at the top here. Gives me the option to download to HTML, download to PDF, download to Word, but there's no option to download to PowerPoint. So that's where those ODS statements come in. So because I've put the ODS statements, don't worry that we don't have a quick download option here. I created my PowerPoint in my C temp. There it is, can choose underscore SS, double click on it from the location. It downloads it to the right and I can open it. And just like that, I'll have my results in PowerPoint. Okay, so all my slides created in PowerPoint. Okay. All right. Well, what if you use the point and click tasks in this environment, right? So with SAS Studio and SAS 9, you have these tasks similar to the concept of tasks in Enterprise Guide, but the look and feel of the windows are a little different, configured a little differently. So under tasks, in the statistics category of tasks, I can find my one-way frequency task. I'm just going to double click on that to open it up, and I'm going to configure it. Okay. So this is what it looks like in SAS Studio. Your tasks, very different from the look in Enterprise Guide. So my source table is already selected, but if I wanted to change it, I could just choose here. And I'm going to choose my analysis variables from here. Just click on the plus. I'm going to analyze sales. And then under additional roles, I'm going to add a frequency count variable. So count the number of stores. And I'm going to group by subsidiary so I get those multiple pages. Now notice as I was making my selections to build my frequency report, on the right, it was creating the code, right? So I'm going to run this task in SAS Studio on SAS 9 and let it officially generate the results and the code. Now, with this interface, what we can do to get the task results into PowerPoint is we're going to edit the code generated by the task. So as soon as it completes, you're going to see the little edit button when it officially generates the code. And just like before, we're going to add in those that ODS statement. All right, so here we go. We have our results. So I'm just going to go to single screen here. So here's my results. Again, multiple pages with my frequency results and distribution charts. So again, I don't have an option here to easily download to PowerPoint, but what I can do is go to the generated code, right? Task generated code, okay? And choose the edit button, right? So we have to be able to edit that code. And just like I showed you, as long as you know about these two statements, you can add them around any procedure that generates reports. And in this case, it's the proc frequency. So before the proc frequency, I'm going to add my ODS PowerPoint right to an output file. I'm going to call this one SS2. And at the end of my proc frequency, close off my PowerPoint destination with an ODS PowerPoint close. Okay, so again, just adding those two statements, rerun the task. It's going to write my PowerPoint file to the location specified. And just like the previous, I'll just navigate back to that location in my C temp folder, and I will have my PowerPoint results. So SAS Studio and SAS 9 just take a little longer to generate the results. So performance is a little slower, but these days, anything more than 5 seconds, we're like tapping our fingers. Okay, so here are my results, and I'm just going to navigate to my files. So just give it a sec while it refreshes the file listing, because I generated a new file. So it's updating my C temp folder. And it seems like a lifetime, but it's probably like 20 seconds. Okay. All right. And here we go. And there it is. Can choose SS2. Double click on it to open it up. And then I go to the right to open it from the download. And there you go. I didn't specify a style sheet when I put in those ODS statements. So this is what the default looks like. So again, just like that, I have a 15 page PowerPoint presentation from my SAS results. Okay, so much easier than trying to copy all these tables and distribution charts in. Much faster, much easier. All right. All right, so let's clear out this list and let's move on to SAS Studio on SAS Viya. So if you're not familiar with SAS Viya, it's our latest platform that is cloud-based. So when you're using this platform, you can either have your code and your tasks run in the cloud, in memory, using our special Cloud Analytical Services server, or in the traditional base SAS engine. So what we're running today will be just run on the traditional base SAS engine. All right, so I'm going to start up a program. I had it open, but it timed out. So I'm just going to come back here, and I'm actually just going to copy this code, because it's the same code, and I'll show you the techniques in SAS Studio on SAS Viya. And again, if you're not sure, in SAS Studio on SAS Viya, again, look and feel is a little different. It looks a lot more like Enterprise Guide than it does SAS Studio on SAS 9. If you go to your user ID on the right and you go to the About, that's where you can see that this is using SAS Studio. Mine says engineer. That tells me it's on Viya, and then you can see the latest Viya release there. That's how you know. There's no reference here about SAS 9, so that's how you'll know this is on Viya. Okay, so my code is up and ready to go. Now, the big difference, one of the big differences in this environment is you won't see your local network files. So when you go to the SAS server, you'll see a home. You'll see a home selection. And I've already set up in a home a temp folder. Okay, so it's a slightly different file structure, file navigation structure than the base SAS 9 environment, right? Because it's configured to the internet and, with the proper web browser, so it's slightly different. Okay, so in any case, I have my temp folder available. So because I have a different platform, I'm going to have to change my file path where I'm writing my results to. So same ODS PowerPoint statement, but I have to change the path. Okay, so I'm going to take out the C10 path. I'm going to add a V on the file name for Viya, and I'm going to insert the path by going to my home temp folder, right-clicking on it, and inserting the path. I'm just going to click there and insert the path so that I get the proper path put in without me trying to guess what it is. Okay, so there's the proper path that I need on SAS Viya to write out to my PowerPoint. Okay, so again, the big deal here was making sure you have the right path and you name your file same way with the PowerPoint extension, and at the end, closed. So let's run this. generate our results. Oh, what did I miss? Oh, I have a space here. I think that's what it is. Let's try it again. Ah, let's take a look at the log. Physical file does not exist. Sorry, bear with me here. Okay, here, I'm going to try this one more time. Insert that file path again. Okay, I might have just had some, or maybe I was clicked on something. I don't know. Let's try that one more time. Yeah, there we go. I didn't put the file path in correctly. Okay, so I have my results generated. So this is what it looks like. Default report in SAS Viya. These are my results. So with SAS Viya, you go to your snowman, the more options menu on the right. And from here, I go to more options, and then I can download. Okay. Now, notice when I go to download, I can download the results file, but that will give me an HTML. But I don't know if you can see on your end, but grayed out in the background, I have other file formats I can download to, but they're grayed out. I can't select them. And PowerPoint is one of them. So let's go and activate the PowerPoint. So what I will need to do is I need to go to my options, preferences, and under SAS options preferences, I can go to SAS program results, and you can see the default produce HTML. And if I scroll down, I have other options, PDF, Word, RTF, and there is PowerPoint, produce PowerPoint. And again, I can choose from different style sheets. So I'll leave it at the high contrast, save. I'm going to need to rerun my results. And now when I go to my more options, download, there is my PowerPoint choice. Okay. And there it downloads to the right. Open up my download. And it opens in PowerPoint in the high contrast style sheet that I chose. And again, just like that, I have multiple pages of a PowerPoint presentation created from my SAS results. Okay. All right. Now, the other thing you can do with SAS Studio and SAS 9 is you can use steps. So the concept of steps is similar to the concept of tasks, but look and feel is a little different, right? So with each change that SAS adds, they kind of change the look and feel of how you set up and configure, but the general concepts are kind of the same, right? So the steps are accessed from the left menu. So this icon here, and there are lots of different categories of steps. So in the statistics category, I'm going to find the one-way frequency step. There it is. Double click to open it up. And in this interface, when you open up a step, it opens up in a flow, which is similar to the concept of flows in Enterprise Guide. But again, look and feel is a little different. So here's my one-way frequency step that I have to set up. So I need to specify an input table. So I'm just going to go to my work library and grab that can choose table and drag it to the input, connect to input port of my step. So now I have a source table to build my one-way frequency step. And I build it down below. Okay, so I'm just going to maximize the window below so that we can just see it a little better. All right, so if I go down below, I can specify what I want to analyze. So just clicking on the plus, so let's analyze sales. Scroll down to additional roles. I'm going to do frequency count based on stores. And I'm going to group by subsidiary. Okay, so just simple frequency setup. And then I'm going to run this step. So in SAS Studio, on SAS Viya, we call them steps. And the step is running. And once it's run, I can now minimize this window. You see the green check mark means it ran successfully. So I'm just going to click on it, go to submitted code and results. So here are my results. All right, and just like before, because I added the PowerPoint in the preferences, I can go to my options, download to PowerPoint. Okay, and open the file. And there you go. Now I have a 15-page for flow in SAS Studio on SAS Viya. Okay, quick and easy. All right, so let's move on to the final interface, the add-in for Microsoft Office in PowerPoint. Okay, so you can see I've moved on to another environment here. This environment has configured in my Microsoft application, specifically PowerPoint, a SAS menu. So that's what the add-in gives you. So there's my SAS menu. Hopefully you can see it. I know this one's a little smaller. And all I've done is I've opened a blank PowerPoint presentation and chose a design. Okay, so because I'm on the SAS menu, I can see my SAS menu choices. I'm simply just going to open a report, an already created report from a stored process. And I'm going to open the sales by order type. So when I open the report, this one actually has a prompt window for me to choose a year to build the report based on, so 2019. So I'm going to let that run. And it's going to generate my report results on the side. Okay. Now, you want to make sure you're on the appropriate slide, because whatever slide you're in, that's where it's going to insert the results. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this little icon. And hopefully you can see that. Might be a little hard for you to see, but I'm just going to use that little insert results into document icon. And that's it. It inserts the results generated into PowerPoint. And depending on the slide design you chose, you might just need to do a little resizing, maybe font size changes, but there you go. My results are in PowerPoint. If you use the tasks in the add-in, so up to the top menu, I'm going to go over to the tasks icon. Okay, see the tasks there? And I'm going to go to the describe category. So the tasks in the add-in are similar to the tasks in Enterprise Guide, exactly the same actually. So I'm going to go to describe and I'm going to choose the one-wave frequency task. Okay, and you could browse and choose your table. So I already have SAS help choose chosen. And then I'm just going to set up my task. Okay, so I'm going to choose, actually I'm going to limit this. I'm going to filter the rows. So I'm going to go into edit and I'm just going to filter this for region equal to, and I'm going to choose Canada here. And I'm choosing Canada because I'm in Canada. All right, and then I'm going to choose my analysis variable. So I'm just going to drag sales as my analysis variable. Let's do a frequency count based on the number of stores, and I'm going to group by subsidiary. Group by subsidiary. There we go. And let's just go to the titles and put in something a little better, something like Canada shoe sales. And let's get rid of the long footnote. All right. So just like that, run, generate your task results right in PowerPoint. So that's the beauty of the add-in. You're right in PowerPoint. And I get my results on the side, just like before. I'm going to make sure I'm clicked on a blank slide and use that same little icon to insert my results. And just like that, it inserted my individual results into slides. Okay, so separate reports created for each subsidiary, just like that. Okay, so really straightforward with the add-in. Okay. Let's do one more thing. So let me modify this task. And let's say I generate a simple vertical plot. Let's rerun it. And what you're going to see is it's going to automatically insert the plot and give you a note saying that, oh, the results have been generated. These results will be inserted on a new slide. So it'll automatically refresh and insert any new slides, in this case, the distribution charts, into the presentation. So now I have a 12-page presentation, just like that. Okay. All right, so that was the last interface. So let's talk a little bit about resources. So if you're interested in more specific documentation on these techniques that I've shown you today, there are links that we're going to provide to you after this seminar is over, but you'll want to explore the creating PowerPoint output documentation. And these are you can easily search these from our SAS support site. When it comes to Enterprise Guide, you'll want to look for setting PowerPoint results options. And if you're interested in courses that touch on some of these topics, if you haven't already taken the SAS Programming 1 course, that's a great course where we introduce the output delivery system. So you learn a little bit more about some of the other output formats that you can create: PDF, Excel, RTF. And if you're interested in the add-in to Microsoft Office, you can explore the SAS Office Analytics Getting Started course. All right, so thank you. And I'm going to turn it over to Diego for some wrap up.
Thank you. Yes, with that, we will be moving into the Q&A segment of our webinar now. All right, Judy, now on to our first question here. Someone's asking, can you edit tables and graphs in PowerPoint after inserting?
Can you edit tables and graphs? So no. So only in the add-in, you can easily edit your your graphs in your tables if you're using the add-in. Okay, but for all the other techniques, you would have to update the file that you wrote to, right? So hopefully that makes sense.
All right, thank you. We got this question from a couple of people. Does this also support .pptx format files, not just a PPT?
I'll have to confirm that, but it should.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it definitely should, yeah.
Someone's asking, how do you get the SAS plugin for PowerPoint?
The add-in, you'll have to get the license. Yeah, the MS add-in license. So you can speak to your sales representative if you're interested in that.
Thank you. Someone's asking, when the output is written to PPT, are the tables live in terms of each column row can be edited, or is it written without editing capabilities?
So if you're using the ODS statements, the file created is a PowerPoint file. The table created, remember, you're creating not a SAS table, which is editable. It's a, what's the proper term? It's not a row column structure. So it's not meant to be edited like a table. So if you have table editing to do, you would want to do that as much as you can, get all your table editing done, then create your procedure results, right? Because remember, these are procedure results, right? Your list report, your frequency report, your summary report. So you don't want to be editing tables in PowerPoint. It's not meant to do that. It's really meant for when you have your final result, and now I'm ready to do my presentation, and not do a lot of editing in PowerPoint.
Thank you. We have a question here saying, from an e.g. ODS PowerPoint statement, can you specify a predefined blank page like the blank slide that you showed in Microsoft add-on?
That might be an option available. I will have to check on that one, but there might be an option that you can add to the ODS statement that allows for that. I don't know that off the top of my head, but that might be an option that you can add in with the ODS open statement. Great question.
Thank you. This person says, is the SAS add-in in MS Office the only way to output to a design template, or could I do this directly from SAS PC 9.4?
No, the add-in is the only way to directly output to a design template. So if you're using the ODS statements, which you would use in 9.4, you would have to copy and paste into a design template, right? Because remember, with that ODS statement, it's creating your native PowerPoint slide. And once you have that, like that native PowerPoint file, then you can do your design elements after you've created that file. Okay, but a little different from the add-in where you're already in PowerPoint and then just adding in your results. So yeah, a little different way of navigating.
Gotcha. Thank you. Someone says, the main issue I've had with ODS PowerPoint is that it adds cell padding to the bottom of cells. If I make the same table in RTF, the table's more compact. When I copy that into PowerPoint versus using ODS PowerPoint directly, is it possible now to remove this padding?
I'll have to investigate that one and get back to you. I would imagine there would be an option to specify padding or no padding, but I'll have to play with that and see if there's an option.
Gotcha. Thank you. Someone is asking, can you build interactive reports in PowerPoint?
Can you build interact? No. It's pretty much a static PowerPoint result. The add-in gives you the most type of interactivity in that you're working directly in SAS in PowerPoint. So if you're, building your tasks, you're already in PowerPoint with the add-in. But with the ODS statements, no, it's not an interactive type output. And no.
Thank you. One person is saying my SAS add-ins to Microsoft is constantly crashing. Do you know what could be a common reason for that?
I'm not sure. So you're going to have to check with our technical support on that one. Yeah, that's a technical support question.
Okay. Another question here. How can we preview these styles in SAS PC 9.4?
Okay. So there is a way that you can use, I believe it's proc template. I want to say it's proc template. I will have to send you that code after. There's code that you can use to get a preview of the style. But Enterprise Guide is the easiest way. So if you have access to Enterprise Guide, just to take a look at the options, the Style Manager options, that's the easiest way. But in SAS 9, it involves a little bit of code.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Another question here. How can we put multiple output results into one slide?
Oh, multiple output results into one slide as opposed to having separate slide for like what I was showing you. I think it depends on how your output is structured. So I had a page break in between my table and my distribution charts, for example. So there should be options that you can eliminate page breaks. So there probably are ODS options that you can add to make your results a little bit more concise, like doing things like eliminating page breaks and things like that. So that will take a little bit more investigating. So I'll have to get back to you with more details on that.
Sure. Thank you. Another person here is asking, is it possible to insert a slide into an existing PowerPoint using either Enterprise Guide or SAS Studio?
Into an existing PowerPoint?
Mm-hmm.
No. So again, with those ODS statements, remember, you're specifying a file that's going to be created. So if you use an existing PowerPoint slide that you already have created, it's going to overwrite it with the SAS results. So no, I don't know of any way to do that with the ODS statements. Let me just double check in the documentation on that, but I would say probably not. The only way you could use an existing presentation is with the add-in.
Thank you.
Yeah. the add-in is the best way.
This person says, my organization has a PowerPoint style template. Is there any way in SAS to use that style template easily, or would this require working with proc template?
So again, if you have the add-in, it will be easy, because in the add-in, you can just open up that style template and get your results. If you don't have the add-in, I'll have to get back to you on that. I'm not sure. There should be a way, though.
Okay, thank you. This person is asking, is the output in an accessible format when put into PowerPoint?
Oh, it should be. SAS strives to meet all the accessibility requirements. I'll have to confirm for sure, but it should be.
Okay.
Right? That's definitely a SAS requirement, that we try to meet all the accessibility requirements.
Thank you. Another question here. Can we specify a slide number to insert output?
A slide number. There should be an option for that. We'll have to explore the options. There should be able to specify a slide number. Again, that's one of those things I'll have to check on the options. So I should have mentioned that there are additional options you can add to that ODS statement, where you can do a little bit more with the output, right? I just wanted to kind of show you the basics in all the interfaces today, but there's a lot of customization that you can do with different options on that ODS statement. So that might be something that you're able to do.
Okay. Apologies if this is also a similar question, but this person is asking, in EG, how do you select just one output, like a bar chart, for example?
How do you select just one output? So if you're using the task, then it would be the output for that bar chart task, and then you would go into the properties of that bar chart task and only choose the options for PowerPoint for that particular task, if I understand the question correctly.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it's a matter of just choosing that task and that result.
This next one might be another options related question, but this person says, if I'm running separate pieces of code that produce different charts, can SAS insert the charts in separate slides? The code does not use by statements.
So you want separate. It's going to take a little bit of playing with for sure, but again, same ODS statements. And again, if you put your ODS statement, so you have multiple procedures. I only had one procedure, the proc print, but I could have had a proc print, proc frequency, proc univariate, multiple procedures. As long as you got that ODS statement at the top to open, ODS to close, all the results from all those different procedures will go to the same file specified. So I'm not sure if I'm answering the question, but yeah, you can apply it to multiple procedure results. I only showed you one procedure, but it could be multiple procedures, right? So all those procedure results would go to the same file, and all separate slides would be created.
Thank you. This person says, sorry if they missed it, but how can we add the SAS plugin to PowerPoint/Excel/Word? Could you repeat that?
Again, you'll have to have the appropriate license. Yeah, so you'll have to talk to your sales SAS sales representative and inquire about the SAS Microsoft add-in application.
Gotcha. Thank you. Someone just sent in a question. I think you answered this already, though. Is there a way of setting the number of pages? That was similar to a previous question we had, right?
Yeah, and that's exploring the options. Yeah, so you'll want to take a look at the documentation on the ODS PowerPoint statements specifically for PowerPoint, and explore all the options. Yeah, there are lots of options there.
Gotcha. Thank you. Another question here. Can visual analytics reports be converted to PowerPoint?
So with visual analytics, creates really wonderful reports on the CAS engine, However, with visual analytics, you do have to copy and paste. There is no easy insert option or download to PowerPoint option yet with visual analytics.
Thank you. Another question, can I create PowerPoint results directly from a SAS table?
No, so remember, when you're working with your SAS table, that's where you're doing a lot of your manipulation and management of the file. So what you would want to do with a SAS table, if it's just strictly the table that you want, just do a simple proc print. Proc print gives you a listing of your table, and put your ODS statements around your proc print.
Thank you. Are the results in PowerPoint dynamic? Meaning if the source files change, do they update?
So when it comes to using the ODS statements, no, they do not. But with the add-in, because you're working directly in PowerPoint with SAS, with the add-in, if the source table changes, you just hit that refresh button, everything updates. But with the ODS statements, no, you'd have to rerun your code.
Thank you. This might be a tech support question as well, but there's a person saying that they're testing, following along on SAS EG, and they got the following error: insufficient authorization to access. Has /opt/SAS/config/lev1/SAS app, and then ppt-test.ppt. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a technical support question.
Yeah, for sure. What else do we have here?
I would say that one, sorry, I would say that one, just check the file path, that you have a proper file path that you're writing to. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, the rest of the questions we have seem to be repeat-ish questions. Someone's asking, is there somewhere to see examples of all the different styles for people who use SAS Studio? Is there somewhere we can direct them to? The documentation, I'm guessing.
The documentation is probably your best way.
Okay.
Yeah, and just explore the documentation. And, we might have some YouTube videos out there that's worth exploring for some examples.
And then we have a question here just saying, can you create one in Enterprise Guide? And I think the answer is yes for that one.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, remember I showed you that with the code and with the, maybe that came in while I was working on it, but yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely 1140.
Yeah. Maybe before I got to it. Yes, yeah, definitely. So remember with Enterprise Guide, if you're writing code in Enterprise Guide, just use those ODS statements. If you're using the tasks, you're going into the properties of the task and changing the results options.
Gotcha. Yeah, I wasn't sure if the one in the question meant something else beyond PowerPoint, but yeah, glad we got that answered. Thank you, Judy, for your answers, and thanks to all of you for joining us. On behalf of myself, Judy, and all of SAS, we really hope that you enjoyed today's webinar. Thank you all, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone. Well, hope you learned something. Bye-bye.